Income week is in full swing here at morningstar.co.uk, and having looked a little bit at investor tips for beginners, I wanted to make a little video for those of you with a little bit more experience. Here to give me his take on over 2 decades in the investment and research world is Ken Watton, co-manager of the Morningstar silver-rated LF Gresham House UK Multi-Cap Income Fund. Thanks for joining us, Ken. I have 4 questions for you today. So here's question number 1. Obviously, you want to make money as an income investor, but what should the actual goal of an expert income investor be?
Great question. The role of an expert income investor, I think, probably sounds a little bit glib to say it, but I think it's about really being able to uncover those sort of areas of sustainable income wherever you might be able to find them. And the Gresham House UK Multi-Cap Income Fund, as the name suggests, is a fund that can go anywhere across the market cap spectrum, and really trying to focus on high quality companies. Where, based on the fundamentals of those businesses, we believe that they can pay attractive dividends which are backed by earnings and cash flow, and that because often we're investing in smaller companies, those cash flows can grow over time, and therefore the capacity to pay dividends can also grow over time. So, and we think that companies that pay dividends typically are better at allocating capital, and therefore are also a good indicator of quality. So, our job is to really sniff out the fundamentals of the companies, really kick the tires on the sustainability of those cash flows and earning streams that can underpin the dividend, and then ideally find those businesses that over the very long term are going to not only do that but give us attractive capital growth because they're also growing companies.
Sure. On the negative side, what temptations could an expert investor fall prey to here? I mean, there's clearly a lot of funds, a lot of companies to choose from. What can go wrong?
Well, I think it's one of the obvious things that could go wrong is that you sort of get tempted by high, or seemingly high day one or near term dividend yields, and failed to spot that actually those dividend yields are high for a reason, and the reason is that ultimately the market is anticipating that the sort of capital components of the equation is likely to fall. So that's one of the reasons why we like growth companies, is that we're not, you're hopefully combining both attractive dividend yields, especially over time, but also with the potential for capital growth. So overall, our fund is trying to deliver a total return proposition, not just an income yield. And so I think a temptation that I guess many income investors might fall into would be to ultimately sacrifice capital in order to chase a yield. And by having a total returns mindset, we really try to avoid doing that.
And then finally, then, I mean, looking for a really honest answer here, what have been the best and perhaps the worst moments of your career, and specifically your career in income?
Well, I think there's been lots of great moments and lots of difficult moments. I think you wouldn't be a good investor if you hadn't had your fair share of companies that have not gone in the way that you anticipated they would do, and where you've ultimately lost money and not got the return that you expected to. I mean, I can remember back to a company years ago, a small cap company called Green Compliance, where in the aftermath of the financial crisis, it was the biggest investment that I'd ever made at that point, and it had a series of profit warnings and it had a stretched balance sheet, and we ended up losing a lot of money on that investment. And but the flip side of that is that those are the things which really define you, and kind of as long as you use them and learn from them and try to make sure that you don't make the same mistakes again, then I think that's what makes you into a good investor. And I think some of the best moments have been where we've managed to pick an idea where I guess other people have gone through that process and things have not gone right, and actually we've sort of picked them right at the moment when everyone else is sort of turning against them. I think it's a great example recently. A company we hold in the fund is Premier Foods, and that's a company that's basically been on small and mid-cap investors' sort of hate list for years, and it's been over-indebted and had pension deficits, and it hadn't paid a dividend for a number of years. But we've very recently invested in it just at the point when it's restarted its dividend, because it's gone through a major turnaround, multi-year. It's deleveraged its balance sheet, it's sorted out its pension issues, and most people just have stopped bothering to look at it. But we think it's got now prospects for to be a really attractive long-term dividend grower. So it's finding those sort of, I guess, those unloved opportunities that most people aren't looking at that kind of really gets me going. So then there's lots of those sort of best moments of career when you find something that you think you've got an edge on.
Thank you very, very much for the honest answer there, and indeed the case studies too. I thought it was really interesting. For more income content, including our look at funds and ETFs for income investors, take a look at morningstar.co.uk. Until next time, I've been Ollie Smith for Morningstar.